For sure. Good morning, and good morning, and good morning. I'm so happy to be back. Welcome to the show. It's me, Kym Swain. And I come here every Tuesday and Thursday because, number one, I have nothing else to do with my time during those 2 hours. And I would rather be here sharing good news and inspiring you rather than just laying around somewhere and just doing nothing, So I hope everybody's having a good day so far. I mean, I feel like I can breathe again. I don't know if you do, Storm's in the house with me. That's my engineer. I love Storm. I'm just so grateful to have him here. I love that name, Storm. What's up, Storm?
It's a great morning. It's a blue morning.
It's a blue morning. Not gray like it was. Well, it started a little gray. But we're moving on to blue skies. So, welcome to the show. We'll be right back. I got some great guests today. We're going to have our business spotlight. Today, my business spotlight is Shannon Stewart from Ranson Insurance. And also, my music soul inspiration spotlight is Reese Soul, and he's going to be sharing new music from his new project. So, welcome to the show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yo, what's good, Atlanta? It's your man, Keyshawn Adon, here with my friend, Chris Tucker. Chris, what's up?
What's up, Keyshawn? I'm here to talk about our brand new show we got coming called Next Now. It'll be on the weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m.
Oh, dope. That ain't during the time of my show.
No, it's not. We don't want to take your little followers.
Ooh, not my little followers. Look, where can they find it at?
They can find it on ATL's Next 100.
Y'all heard it here first. Tune in weekdays from 12 to 2 to Next Now on ATL's Next 100. Our community, our station.
Atlanta's home for hip-hop and R&B.
It's a hip-hop and R&B flavor.
And don't get it twisted. ATL's Next 100.
I'm back. Yeah. This is my song. I'm trying to make sure my call-ins have the right call-in numbers, but before we do that, I just wanted to share some morning thoughts. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of good news, mostly good news lately. I haven't heard too much bad news, even though it's trying to sound like bad news. I guess what? Moving forward is a mother right now. We're just doing great things. Just keep hope alive, okay? But today we're here to talk about soul inspiration, and I'm excited about the two guests I have. Shannon Stewart is going to be here today. He's my business spotlight, and I think he has an inspiring story to share. I don't know Shannon well, but he helped me with some insurance recently, and I got to talking to him yesterday, and he was telling me the importance of life insurance. We were both talking about the importance of life insurance because, both of us have dealt with death very closely, and I wanted to get that news out there and let people know how they can go about getting life insurance if you don't have it, if you don't think you can afford it, to get the information you need to be educated on that subject. So I'm looking forward to that. And then later on, we're going to be talking to my homeboy Reese Soul. He's going to be sharing his new music today. I'm looking forward to that. He's been, like most artists, he's been in quarantine creating new music and ideas. So listen, there's so much going on in the world. I want to talk about some good things. There's some artists that recently did some great things. I want to read a few articles. Like Megan Thee Stallion, she just recently she get together a scholarship for girls. And I think that's awesome. I mean, if you're going to do it, then, help other people. So, people hate on a lot of different artists today, what they're doing and how the type of music that they're doing. And listen, they're doing it, okay? And she's very educated. From what I understand, Megan Thee Stallion is she's got a couple of degrees on her belt. So, congratulations. Let's give her a hand clap to Megan Thee Stallion for giving back to the community and creating a scholarship for young women. I like that. That's awesome. Let me see what else is going on. Let me see what else I got. I had to rush to get here. Oh, Dionne Warwick. She is going to be 80. And she's going to be having a birthday extravaganza. The legendary Dionne Warwick will be celebrating her 80th birthday. It's going to be online. It's Saturday, December 12th. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. It's a birthday extravaganza for the legendary songstress, and her special guests are, I believe, she's going to have, let's see, who's going to be in here? Well, I don't have the guest listed here, but I'll get that information for you. But definitely check that out. Google or go to her website. I'll make sure I get you the website information on how to get tickets. And I think it's something where you have to go online and watch it live. So that's cool, you know. But I don't know. I have my mind thinking to say so many things to you, and then when I get here, it's like I'm just like, woosah. You ever just want to woosah and just take a minute because you rush to get someplace and you have a whole idea of how you think things should go, and they don't necessarily go that way. So I'm trying to center myself, and I'm not a talk show person that likes to talk alone. I like to talk to people. So thank God you're here, Storm, because I feel like I'm crazy just talking to the mic. You know, I like to be in front of people. So this quarantine situation has been challenging because I'm a single woman, and there are a lot of single people out there that I know have been challenged with dealing with the quarantine and dealing with the corona. So if you've had issues, if you're single and you've had issues, I want you to go to IBNX Network on Instagram or on YouTube, or you can go to the show with Kym Swain, and we'll pose the question, how have you been dealing with the corona as a single person? I mean, have you chose to meet more people online, which is something my family has been trying to encourage me to do. I'm not there yet.
I mean, listen, I was just talking about this on a separate radio show, but I mean, I met my girlfriend through online dating during the pandemic.
My nephew met his girlfriend online.
It's possible. It's a real thing if you want to give it a shot.
Well, listen, I don't know if we're supposed to shout out, but what website did you go to?
So surprisingly enough, it was Tinder. It was
Okay.
definitely Tinder. I was trying out some of the dating apps. I tried Bumble, tried Hinge, I think it's called. And, Tinder is one that worked. So,
Okay, so that's 2. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I'm going to check it out. And you 2 gentlemen, that I think highly of, telling me the same thing. And from what you tell me of your girlfriend, seems like you got a solid deal. And I know my nephew did.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely understand the stigma that comes with online dating, specifically Tinder, because there are a lot of, let's say, not the best gentlemen on there. But it can work if you're direct about what you want and are really gonna go for it. It can definitely work out.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. I might give it a try. I'm gonna pray about it. All right, well, listen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about some more interesting topics, but like I said, this morning, around 10:30, I'll be talking to Shannon Stewart, and we're going to be talking about life insurance and how you can get yourself some. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is the show on IBNX Radio. Stephanie Mills. So a lot of you remember her. You know, she's the very first black Dorothy from The Wiz. Yeah. That's a soul fact right there. Produced, well, yeah, the Wiz on Broadway. I can't remember if that was produced by Quincy Jones. I know he definitely produced the one in the movie. I have to look that up. I don't have those details in front of me. But yes, I love me some Stephanie Mills. She was the soul sister from way back that I admired her music. Well-known Brooklynite. So coming up next, I'm getting ready to have my interview with Shannon Stewart from Ransom Insurance. I think everybody's calling me, and we're getting, acquainted and getting ready for that. But before we do that, how many people, well, I might be dating myself by telling you this story, but, I love indigenous bands that we don't get to hear much of, that, so many have been established in the rock and roll industry. And then I just wanted to share some information. The group Redbone, they're a Native American rock band. And they wrote a song, Come and Get Your Love. That was big in the 70s when I was a child. And I used to love that song. So the whole band consisted of Native Americans. And they officially formed in 1969, but their journey began many years earlier. The true story of a Native American rock band is now a graphic novel that relates a compelling story extending much further than the solely rock music. So you should go check that out, okay? Come and Get Your Love was a hit. It was the top 40 in the U.S. and it peaked at number 5, featured on the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. To this day, it's a popular track on oldies and on oldie stations. Readers will learn Redbone was an all-Native American band determined to stand proudly for the causes of diversity and civil rights. I'm reading this from peoplesworld.com. It's an interesting article about the band. The origin of Redbone began with Pat and Lolly Vasquez, brothers of Yaqui, Yoshane, and Mexican descent. The siblings adopted the stage names of Pat and Lolly Vegas in 1962 at the urging of their manager, who thought their true ethnicity would not sell at the clubs where they had arranged bookings. By the end of the decade, however, the brothers were proudly embracing their heritage as civil rights took center stage. Redbone, the book, enlightens readers with musically and culturally. Classic rock fans will revel in illustrations colorfully portraying Pat and Lolly Vegas sharing the bill with and befriending Jimi Hendrix and the Doors on the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles. So, I don't know. I was reading from the article from People's World again, but I thought that was interesting. If you like rock and soul, Redbone's a good band. You familiar with that band, Storm?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I only know them from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really?
Like you said, that's how I got originated.
So that made you understand who they were just now, huh?
Definitely good background for me, but can confirm. Just looked it up. Quincy Jones did produce.
Thank you for that.
So, yeah.
Now, see, that is what a producer makes a good engineer and a producer. Thank you very much. You deserve a hand clap. You want to get one? You should have one. Thank you, Storm. Yes, so so I'm glad I know, because sometimes you don't realize, like, even with my daughter, like, I may mention things, she knows a lot about stuff that she just saw me watching. Like, you may know things that you saw your parents watching, but there is like such a gap, I think, with some kind of history in music sometimes. Like, I'll mention an artist to some people that are way younger than me, like in their 20s maybe, and there's a generational gap in music. And I've always wanted to make sure we keep a bridge in music, because music connects the world, and I think over time we can always appreciate different types of music from different cultures, different styles, different genres. I think that's how the world communicates. If I didn't know you and we didn't speak the same language, if you played me some good music, we'd have some fun. We'd be dancing. So music makes the world go round. So that was interesting. I'm glad I shared that article today. So check it out, Redbone. Okay, it's a book out. You can go get it, I guess, everywhere, Barnes & Noble and the such bookstores, or online. Go online and look more into it, learn more about Redbone. So with no more further ado, how about we play that song for those who did not know and are not familiar with that song. Here we go, Redbone, Come and Get Your Love.
Yeah.
every time I'm near your heart. Can you feel it? No, you see it. So many people in pain. Thank God for the love we share, Lord. Even though it's rough out there, no one knows. Seems no one cares. You give me hope when none is found. Life is short, time's running out. Let's make this a good night. Yeah, even through the bad times. Yeah, nothing can kill this vibe. No, as long as I feel the way you make me feel.
Window shopping, not for nonsense. I love a woman who's sexy and confident. I wanna read your mind. Yes, I really need your time. Silk fleeces, Jesus pieces. Here's my memoir. I need your thesis. After I've read chapter 5 in the S6, still side by side. Yes, I told her that her future bright. Yes, depending how you move tonight. Yes, come and kick it with a big shot. Yes, you really live it or you kick rocks. Yes, swimming pool seated. Yes, courtside seated. Yes, see me when you see me. Fat pockets, but I'm seated with the vegans. Yes.
Yeah, even through the bad times. Yeah, nothing can kill this vibe. As long as I feel the way you make me feel. Yeah. You give me hope when none is found. Life is short, time's running out. Let's make this a good night. Yeah, even through the bad times. Yeah, nothing can kill this vibe. As long as I feel the way you make me feel.
Everybody, it's your girl Jada,
It's your boy Chris No Tucker.
And it's your girl, Jaleesa.
here to tell you about our brand new show.
Next now,
And we'll be bringing you the afternoon tea.
letting you know what's happening around the way.
And giving you the latest hits.
So join us weekdays 12 to 2 p.m. on ATL's Next 100. Our community,
Our state.
Next 100. Stand up. Get it pop right now. Atlanta's home for hip hop and R&B.
Number one station for hip hop and R&B.
You know what the deal is.
ATL's Next 100.
Back. Excuse me one moment. I put my hood back on. Get myself together for a minute. Got a little crazy. Welcome back to the show. It's me, Kym Swain, and you are listening to me on IBNX Radio Network. Coming up next, I have my guest. He's calling in, my friend Shannon Stewart. He has a wife and kids. He has a wife and 4 kids. One of who just left for the Air Force this past Sunday. So happy, blessings to your son. And he's not a veteran, so we'll just say thank you for having him be of service. And also, he is also an Air Force retired veteran. So happy belated Veterans Day to you, Shannon.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and he's been in insurance for 10 years, and he does home and auto commercial insurance as well. So welcome to the show, Shannon. Thank you for calling in. And
Thank you for having me.
thank you very much. You're welcome. So you and I were talking yesterday because you're helping me with some insurance issues or policies that I wanted to put in place. And we were talking yesterday, and I was impressed with our conversation because you were telling me the reasons why you got into insurance, and that you were the man when it came to life insurance. And I was telling you I was very interested in different life insurance policies. So I invited you here to share the importance of having a life insurance policy. But first, I wanted you to introduce yourself and your company, and to tell me and the audience again why you started in insurance and why you started your business as an insurance policy, agent or insurance policy agent.
Right. Okay, so I'm with a company called Ransom and Associates Insurance Agency. We're based out of Winder, Georgia. We do help folks all across the metro Atlanta area. In fact, we're actually licensed in about 7 different states. but most of our business comes from right here in Georgia. We've been in business since 2010, and just this July, we graduated to a full-fledged independent agency. Before that, we were primarily what's called, Nationwide. You know the company Nationwide.
Yes, I do.
Primarily a nationwide agency.
Mm-hmm.
But since July, we've graduated to being fully independent, which what that basically means for you is that we can write business with probably 10 or 15 different companies, to name a few: State Auto Insurance, Travelers Insurance, of course, Nationwide, Allstate, Progressive, and several others. So we can write anybody, any type of business for any type of client, because everybody doesn't fit every company.
Right.
That helps us quite a bit, because if a client's policy, say for instance, goes up, as policies typically do, we can sometimes pivot them to a different company and continue to save them money. And so we're quite diverse in that way.
Okay.
What I do though, I can write all those home and auto policies like we were talking about earlier, commercial insurance as well. But my specialty actually is life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you and I spoke about it yesterday. Some years back, a previous marriage I was in, my wife actually passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And when she passed away, firsthand we can understand why something is so important.
Right.
We were blessed that she did have life insurance, of course.
Right.
But when it happens to you, it becomes more personal.
Mm-hmm.
And from that day to this day, that has absolutely been my passion to be a part of life insurance and helping folks, educating folks who just didn't know why it was so important.
Right.
And of course, helping folks get policies that put their families in a better position.
Right. So, do you find it, because I know that you find it hard for many people to want to put in place a life insurance policy when they're young?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
so young folks, just like when we were younger, we feel like, that's 40, 50 years away, nothing's going to happen to me.
Right.
So what I tell young folks is, unfortunately, we all pass away, and we do not have a date. We don't know when we're going to pass away.
Right.
But my thing with young folks, I'll always explain, it really has more to do with protecting your insurability.
Mm.
Because when you're 20 and 25 and 30 in that age category,
mm-hmm.
the chances are if you pass away, it's probably going to be an accident.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're that young, it's easier to get an excellent rate, because most people who are in the
chances
category are always healthy.
Right. The chances are different.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not until something happens where we find out we have some kind of ailment,
right,
disease, or something that's going to be with us the rest of our lives, that we may not be able to get life insurance at that point.
Mm.
Sometimes diabetes gets in the way, or cancer gets in the way,
mm-hmm.
or if we had a history with something else that came up, it gets in the way. And then we can't buy it, or if we can buy it, it's much more expensive than it would have been if we were healthy.
Right.
So I always explain to young folks, buy the insurance now to protect your insurability.
Right. So what age would you say is a good age as a young person, when you start fresh out of college, or when you become a 19 or 21, what would be the best age to start to invest in a life insurance policy?
Okay, so that's a great question. So there really shouldn't be a time in anyone's life that they don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So from the time that a person is born, parents, in a perfect world, parents would get their children a child policy until they literally grow into it. Once they become an adult, they can, transfer that policy directly to the child, and then the child can also purchase their own policy. So there really shouldn't be a time that they don't have it.
Mm.
I typically recommend when a young adult gets to that place where they're working, they're on their own,
mm-hmm.
they need to purchase their own life insurance, not the one that their parents gave them. Keep
mm-hmm.
that one, of course,
mm-hmm.
but they need to purchase their own, start getting their own life insurance.
Wow, right.
Yeah. So another thing that just to bring it up that I talk to young folks about is usually when young folks are starting out, they get their first job or so, they'll always say, well, I have insurance at work. And that's great,
mm-hmm.
because the insurance that you get at work,
mm-hmm.
everybody should always get as much as they'll give you at work because
Right.
it's so inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're buying into a group plan. So the insurance company sells it to that company or that business at a relatively inexpensive cost because there's so many people buying it.
Right.
But the issue with it is, if you ever leave that company, that insurance is gone too. Say, for instance, you start at a company at 25 years old and you're with that company for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a decent amount of insurance with them, but then in 10 years, you leave. God forbid you had some type of ailment. Now you don't have the life insurance from that company.
Right.
And you have an ailment at 35 years old. Now you can't get a really good rate.
Mm-hmm.
Young folks are in the best position. It's just that, we have to really get them to understand, take advantage of the position that you're in.
Right. Don't seem to feel invincible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would be now there are different tiers in insurance policies, in life insurance policies. Can you explain how that works in novice terms, for those of us, like in just basic terms, on how an insurance policy works and how there are affordable policies out for you when you think that you may not be able to afford one?
Absolutely. So, and again, these are excellent questions. I hope you have so many listeners listening to this. So there's a few different types of insurance. And in layman's terms, there's term insurance, which lasts for a specific amount of time, whether it's 10 years, 15 years, 20, 25, 30, or 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And once that term is over, typically the insurance is gone. That insurance is by far the least expensive. You can get the most insurance for your money. And when I think of, folks who, the typical family, a mom and dad has 2 or 3 kids. Kids are, young kids, 8, 10 years old. They're bringing in together, say, $100,000 a year. In my experience, that type of family can afford term insurance because they need a lot of it. If they're making $100,000 a year, that family's going to have to replace if the father and the mom are making $50,000 each. They have to replace that income if one of them pass away.
Right.
So if you think about how long do you want to replace the income of the spouse that passed away? The question I ask a lot of my clients is simply this. If something happened to your husband, would your husband want to keep you in the same world? Have you living the same life you were living when he was here?
Right.
Eating the same foods, enjoying the same entertainment, living in the same house, driving the same car.
Right.
That type of thing. So if he was bringing $50,000 to the house every year, that's how much insurance you need to have per year and for how many years.
That makes sense.
Right. $50,000 in 10 years is $500,000. So if you wanted to replace it for 20 years, that will be $1 million in life insurance.
Right. Okay.
So then we think about it, Mike, and most people when they say, I'll tell a young couple, you all need $1 million each. They'll go, I can't afford that. Well, actually, you can. When you think about how much insurance costs, especially if you're healthy.
Right.
I just helped a young lady who was 27 years old. She bought $1 million policy, 30 years, and her insurance every month is only $46 a month.
That's pretty good. That's not. I do $46 a month. I put $46 in other things that don't make sense. You know what I mean?
That's right.
We
waste it every month.
Right.
Every single month we waste it. So, it is affordable. Of course, you have to be healthy to get a rate like that. But most of us in our 20s, 30s are healthy. And so that's the first type of insurance, that term insurance. But there's also other insurances out there where people say, Shanny, I want to have insurance, I want to have enough insurance, but I also want to use my insurance as an investment. Meaning that, is there a return on the insurance? If I pay a certain amount of money, and 20 years from now, will I be able to borrow from that policy? Will I be able to take the money out of that policy? Those type of policies are called either whole life or universal life insurance policies.
Okay.
And they're great too. They do cost more, and you don't get as much insurance. But unlike a term policy, you actually do have a return. So, by example, if I bought a $300,000 policy and I was 40 years old, and I'm paying per month $250 a month, for 20 years, at the end of 20 years, I might have $50,000 just sitting there. So that person, again, think about that person that was 25 or 30 years old that purchased $1 million life policy.
Right.
For 30 years, and that policy cost them $50 a month.
Right, and they can cash in.
$7 a month, whatever it was.
Right.
They can also couple that with the other type of policy if they can afford it to bring them back a return later in life.
Yeah, I see. Yes.
I'm 51 years old, and I remember thinking, man, so for that person who's 25 years old, in 25 years, if they had that policy that gives them a return, they'd be my age, and I'm still trying to buy houses and cars and do things that we all do.
Right.
I'm still young.
Right.
But don't waste those early years, because those years are hugely important years.
Yes, valuable. So many things you need to invest in at a young age. When you're young.
Absolutely.
That definitely, if you're smart, can benefit you in your aging years. That's why, when you have to fill out all those forms when you do have a job, when you do go to work, and you have to fill out those things. Like you said, that's the company putting together a good policy or whatever for you. But that educates you what you can do for yourself as well, because that stops if you leave that company and you want to have things long term and be smart about your money. I think that we learned some great things today, Shannon. Tell us a little bit more about how people can contact you and maybe speak to you about getting a life insurance policy.
Sure, you are more than welcome. You can call me directly. My number is 678-520-0540. My email address is s.like.Sam.Steward, STEWARD like Delta.
Right.
At yourmisterinsurance.com.
All right. Thank you so much.
Mr. is just the acronym MR, not the entire word.
Oh, right. Make sure that's clear. It's MR, not the whole word.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to be so informative and giving with some good news.
I really appreciate you. I appreciate you reaching out to me, and I'm glad we had this discussion. I'd love to be able to help any of your listeners. Just give me a call.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put together a hand clap for Shannon Stewart. And thank you again for coming to the show. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to Next Radio. This is Kym Swain on We Are Radio. Don't go anywhere.
Rosebuds know the bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love's the cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always. 'Cause now can't reveal the mystery of tomorrow. the joy and pain, and I'll be loving you always. Yesterday I know I'm living, but tomorrow could make me the past, but that I mustn't fear. For I'll know deep in my mind the love of me I left behind, 'cause I'll be loving you always. Until the day is night and night becomes the day. Always. Until the trees and seas just up and fly away. Always. Until the day that is the day that made us for. Always. Until the day that is the day that I know more. Did you know you love by somebody? Yes, I said it right to live. Always. Because that's what the sun is not to say. I'll be loving you forever. Let you say the what you do. Always. Until the day that you are me and I am you. Always. We all know sometimes like pains and trouble can make you wish you were born in another time and space. But you can bet your lifetime living twice its double. If God knew exactly where He wanted you to be placed. So make sure when you say you're in it but not of it, you're not helping to make it to the place sometimes called hell. Change your words into truth and then change that truth into love. And maybe our children, grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren will tell. I'll be loving you until the rainbow burns stars in the sky. Loving you until the ocean covers every mountain. Loving you until the dolphin flies in Paris, live and see. Loving you until we dream of life and life become a dream. And loving you until the day is night and night becomes the day. Loving you until the trees and seas just up and fly away. Loving you until the day that eight times days available. Loving you until the day that every day that I know more. Loving you until the day the earth starts turning right and left. And loving you until the earth just falls apart and I myself. Loving you till by the laser is working through. Loving you until the day that you are me and I am you. That ain't that loving you. And then loving you. And I've got to say always. Always. Until we dream of life and life becomes a dream. Always. Night and night becomes a day. Always. Until the trees and seas just up and fly away. Until the day that you are me and I am you. Until the rainbow finds the stars out in the sky. Until the ocean covers every mountain high. Until the open by the Paris River sea. Until we dream of life and life becomes a dream. Until the day is night and night becomes a day. Until the trees and seas no negative vibes. We all know the reason, yeah, but you're one of mine. Breaking is like we are perfect pair. I'm on yours, so it's time to play. I don't wanna go anywhere unless I'm with you for the holiday. It's almost time for Christmas. You asked me what my list was. Meet me at the mistletoe. Here's something that you should know. Baby, up on the list. 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 Your lips sweet like honey, cinnamon rolls. My heart skips when you touch me. Your love warms my soul. Yeah. Breaking us that we are perfect pair. I'm on yours, so it's time to play. I don't wanna go anywhere unless I'm with you for the holiday. It's almost time for Christmas. You asked me what my list was. Meet me at the mistletoe. Here's something that you should know. Baby, up on the list. 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 Baby, you are. Baby, up on the list. Baby, up on the list. Don't worry about it, babe. Up on the list. Nobody got to play. Up on the list. Baby, up on the list. Baby, you are. Baby, you are. Baby, up on the list. Let me play.
And we are back, and I am so happy to be introducing you to my friend Reese Soul, who is joining us now during my Soul Inspiration Spotlight on the second half of the show with Kym Swain here on IBNX Networks. We Are We Radio. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You were actually just listening to Reese's new holiday song, The List, and I want you to welcome Reese Soul. Can I get a hand clap? Welcome, Reese. Good morning. Yes, thank you so much for taking the time out your morning to call in so early. You know, it's almost 11 o'clock, so, you know, for me, it's almost 2 o'clock.
Yeah, time to get some lunch.
Right, it's almost lunchtime. So how are you, and how have you been through this pandemic, you and your family?
I've been pretty good. Definitely an odd time for everybody. Just, you know, I guess it's been a really good time to get close with family and give them that time to spend. I figured the world needed that downtime.
Absolutely. Well, listen, before we get into our conversation, I want to tell people a little bit about you. It all began with the video chat mic and a noodle strainer. whatever that means. Even though born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, Reese Soul always found home in his music. As many artists can say, the introduction to his musical life began in the church. Reese is a one-stop shop. He's a singer, songwriter, audio engineer, and producer. Reese Soul competently plays a medley of instruments, from the cello to the synthesizer. He has worked with many artists, from chart toppers to local acts. His music is a marriage between smooth vocals and unforgettable melodies. I'm sorry. I'm all tongue-tied this morning, Reese. So, again, you were telling me about, the whole experience with you and the family during quarantine. So it's different for all of us. But you have managed to stay creative during that time, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about the Christmas song. Well, would you call it a holiday song? What would you how would you genre the list?
Yeah, most definitely Christmas music. I tried to make some Christmas music with a R&B vibe to it. Most definitely Christmas music is kind of very repetitive, and they play the same stuff year after year, year after year. Mm-hmm. So I felt like it's time to make some fresh music, considering the holiday times.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it is a part of an actual full-length Christmas album, actually, called Wish List, and this is kind of like partially the self-titled track.
Okay. Well, since you play so many instruments and you're so musically inclined, did you play all the instruments on your project, or who else worked with you? Did you produce and write everything?
Yes, I played everything on there except for the drums. My drummer and my band played the drums for me on this track, but every other instrument, that's all me.
That's pretty impressive. So you played the cello? Yeah, that's interesting. Play the cello. So when do you get a chance to play the cello now?
I try to do that sometimes on like songs that I have to do, orchestral feel to it, or really, to be honest with you, I don't get to play it as much as I would like. Mm-hmm. So more so, I would do it more so for songs I wanted to do, like orchestral feel, or you want to do something cinematic. I'll pull it out, but I haven't thought to pull it out at a gig yet.
Okay. Well, that is impressive, not many people can play the cello. So who are some of you, I know last time we spoke, you had mentioned some of your inspirations, but as you mentioned, you have grown, and you have, in different stages in our lives, we're interested in different types and different sounds. So who are some of the artists and music that you're listening to these days?
Oh, man, that is a hard one. I think it's a double-edged sword, because right now I've been doing a lot of writing, mm-hmm. and a lot of writing and creating for an upcoming album. So what I usually do when I get to a point of writing and creating again, I don't listen to a lot of people. So I guess my music you start to copy someone else's vibe, or, mm-hmm. I don't subconsciously.
You've been influenced,
Yeah. I guess if I had to say it, I was listening to somebody. I definitely listened to a lot of Lucky Day, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, Donny Hathaway.
Oh yeah, I was just listening to him in the car, and Roberta Flack. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of listen to everything, because even with my approach to music, I like to kind of mix it up and take a lot of different genres or styles, or stylistic approaches, and try to put it in my music. But if I had to choose, yeah, most definitely Lucky Day and Donny. Okay. I can listen to.
Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. So I want you to introduce your next song that you're going to be sharing with us right now. Coming up next, what can you tell us about this song and who worked with you on it?
Okay, so the next song is "This Is the Night." This is one of my songs I released pre-pandemic, so it was earlier this year, right about the time before the pandemic hit. It has a double meaning to it. It's it's partly about relationship, and you're going through a hard decision, trying to figure out if you want to continue on, or did you want to patch it up. and it's kind of like you're talking to yourself, making that decision for yourself. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I had some friends that committed suicide, and I flipped to a double meaning there, and it's the same concept as you're going through something and you're having a struggle internally, and you're talking to yourself, and you're trying to reason with yourself, or you're trying to fight back the urge to end your life. So this is the night.
All right, well, that's challenging. I'm sorry about your friend. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, this is The Night by Reese Soul.
Tonight, I'm waiting tonight. My love, my love, my love, my love. I'm waiting tonight. My time is up. I think I'm through. I've been to this place before with you. You said don't jump. Please think it through. I have nothing left to store. I've given all I could to you. I am a game that you think that you can play, but I know that I can't take it anymore. Can't take it anymore. I feel my heart can't take it anymore, and so this is the night. A journey to another place. This is the night. I'm gonna find another way. Yeah, this is the night. 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 I'm on a ledge, debating where to go. Another chance. My right mind tells me no. I can end this now. I know I should. I have nothing left to store. I've given all I could to you. I am a game that you think that you can play, but I know that I can't take it anymore. Can't take it anymore. I feel my heart can't take it anymore, and so this is the night. A journey to another place. This is the night. I'm gonna find another way. Yeah, this is the night. This is the night. Oh, this is the night. This is the night. This is the night.
I love that. That was sounding really good, Reese. So I was talking to you much more through the song. You and I were off mic having a little conversation, catching up on some things. And you were telling me that your wife is actually a teacher And during the pandemic, like most of us, many of us had plans during the beginning of, the end of 2019, moving into 2020. How 2020, we all artists and creative people everybody were making plans about what they're going to be doing 5 to 6 months ahead. So tell me how, your wife and you have been able to adjust as parents with 3 small ones, and you being an artist and her being a teacher, a creative teacher as a dancer. How did that affect you guys mentally and creatively as a family?
Well, to start off, I think it was a rough thing, but at the same time, it was a blessing in disguise because, like I said, it was just, having that downtime to kind of regroup and kind of have a breath of fresh air and kind of, I guess, revitalize yourself, and not only personally, but as a family. So that was a plus for, definitely us, because, sometimes the hustle and bustle, you can kind of get lost in it when you're just running around all the time. So, yeah, they kind of gave a little downtime. And us as a family, we had to kind of figure out the things that we figure out, our schedules and that type of thing, because especially with the pandemic, you don't want to, with us having 3 small kids, toddlers, we didn't want to have our kids all out there, out in the world like that and risking COVID. So
that's right.
Most definitely was, taking turns hand in hand, even to the point, if we go to the grocery store, we'll go as a family, but one of us will go in and everybody else chill in the car, just to feel like we went somewhere, know. But as creatives, for me personally, I was able to regroup and rebrand myself as an artist. That time to, just to, I guess, spend time for me as an artist. Especially, I spent a lot of time, producing and mixing and all this type of thing for other artists and other acts and other companies or whatever. And I didn't give myself enough time to, propel myself as an artist. So that really gave me a chance to focus on me and my creativity.
Mm-hmm. That alone time, you're able to meditate and think. Sometimes God will make you do it when you won't do it. Yeah. And you got to find the good in every bad, so-called bad situation. Just ebb and flow. That's what I'm learning how to do in life. Ebb and flow. Yeah. That's what it's all about. So tell me, if you could work with any artist, if we weren't in a pandemic right now, who would you work with? That's living.
Ooh. Let's see. If I could work with any?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to make selfish decisions.
Okay, I'll give you 2 or 3. You want me to give you how many choices you want? 3 or 2? How many people you need?
Okay, I would say one would be Jacob Collier.
Okay.
Because he's a genius mind, and he, I would just love to sit around and just I guess pick his brain on his creative process on things. Another I would say would be Brian Leslie. That's always been my guy from day one. He's kind of one of my inspirations when I first decided to become an artist. He was that artist that I thought I was before I was, so.
Well, he taught you how you wanted to become an artist, I guess. Kind of laid the foundation.
Yeah. He was that guy that I saw when I first, discovered him. I was like, dang, that's what I was trying to do. It was like, oh man. But yeah, so most definitely, he had an influence on, I guess, definitely the beginning of my sound and, how I approached music in creating. Let me see, one more. I would say I would definitely like to work with Janelle Monáe.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I would like to work with her. I think, both of our eccentric styles would kind of make some really good music.
Mm-hmm. Interesting choice. Okay. All right, gonna let that marinate. So, moving forward, what have you learned about yourself as an artist during this time? Did you learn anything about yourself?
I would say one of the biggest things I learned is really just enjoying the ride and just not overthinking things and even though there's a business side to music and there's, you kind of have to take it serious enough if you want to call it a career or, do it in a certain level, but enjoy it. Why do it if you don't enjoy it or if you don't, have fun while you're doing it? So I think that's one thing I really worked on and really started to grow on, even when I was just starting out as an artist. Like I was having fun, but when it came to shows and when it came to gigs and when it came to, the way I approached or my presentation, it was always, I was overthinking things and I was too serious and, I was worried about this, worried about that, instead of just enjoying the moment that you're in.
I can relate to that.
I feel like I think a concert is kind of like the example of life. Like, like you're preparing for it, you get up to it, and then it's like, okay, we're here, and that moment, it just blinks by you, and it's just like, man, I wish I had that moment back again. I want to do it again, but man, I wish, and you don't want to keep having that show and be like, man, I could have did this, or I wish I did this more. Just leave it all out there, and go with the experience. Whether it lands or if it falls. At least you said you did everything you could and you enjoyed the ride. So that's definitely one thing I really focused on, is just really having fun with it.
Yeah, I can relate to all those things you just said. That's why you just gotta let it go. You gotta let yourself be you. You gotta love yourself and do you, and really reach into, because that's where your creativity is gonna come from. That sensitive soul that you have. Hence the soul inspiration, Reese. That's the only criteria to being on this show, is you got to have some soul, and that is in your name. Your name is Soul.
That's right.
Reese Soul. Oh, look at God. So listen, we're gonna play another song, and this is your current single, right? Yes. So tell me a little bit about this song. What made you write it? This is One on One coming up.
This is One on One. This is the fun vibe. This is the kind of have a good time song. So I thought it was that time after. I guess this was the contrast to This Is the Night. This Is the Night was a little more serious. It was more of a slow burner, more of a thinker type of song. More of a song that you kind of, you're examining what's going on in life. But One on One is definitely the fun song. This is, lighten things up. Okay. So I thought after that song, I was like, I have to put out something. I have to put out a vibe. So yeah, that's definitely One on One.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, with no more further ado, Reese Soul, One on One.
Girl, just forget about everything. It's you and I. It's your night. One-on-one time tonight.
One-on-one. Get that one-on-one. One-on-one. Get that one-on-one.
We caught eyes, come hang with a special guy. No need for hesitation, baby, cause the vibe is right. Hats off to the DJ, cause he played your song. You're rolling them hips, then you start to sing along. Jug for me, baby, show me how it's looking. It's heating up in here, girl, you got it cooking. Jug for me, baby, show me how it's looking. It's heating up in here, girl, you got it cooking. Girl, you got what it takes to make me feel this way. Can you hear me now? Yeah, the way you make it shake. You ain't coming here to play. Can you feel me now? Girl, just forget about everything. It's you and I. It's your night. One-on-one time. Tonight, girl, I'm gonna give you everything. It's you and I. It's your night. One-on-one time.
Hey, the one that I chose.
Hey, that one-on-one.
Hey, scared to get close.
Hey, that one-on-one.
Hey, the one that I chose.
Hey, that one-on-one.
Hey, scared to get close.
Hey, that one-on-one. I just wanna know if we can take it slow. I'm changing my mind cause the way you make it roll. Yeah. Get it how you get it. I can tell the way you're vibing that you with it. I like the way you hold me while you're bending. Take a chance to get to know me cause I'm different. Girl, you got what it takes to make me feel this way. Yeah, the way you make it shake. You ain't coming here to play. Can you feel me tonight? Girl, just forget about everything. It's you and I.
Awesome. So like we were just talking, Reese, you and I, about how, the whole pandemic has really forced you to step out on faith, on you, and, just put all your gifts and utilize them for yourself at this time because you were isolated. And I guess you were just forced to be creative and just share. So, we were talking about like your day to day, and your day is like outstanding. How many different things you're gonna do after this? You got like teaching, then you got like a performance, and then you got like something else. So what are you gonna do when you leave here? Everything is creative that you told me.
Yeah. So first thing is get some food, and that's first on the list. I also teach music, so I teach guitar, bass, vocal, and studio recording and piano. So I have to do that later today. And after that, I'll be heading to one of the churches that I play for, Macedonia. They do their pre-record service for Sunday, so they live stream it on Sunday. So we're going to record that, and then following that, I have to play for a concert. So I'll be playing for artists for their spotlight. So at Brookhaven Lounge in Macon, Georgia. So I'll be moving around.
Yeah, listen, all good things, all good things. Well, I thank you for taking time out of your morning to share.
Thank you for having me.
No, anytime, you're always welcome. Like I said, you belong here. Your name is Reese Soul, okay? So never forget that. You're always welcome at the Soul Inspiration Spotlight here on the show with Kym Swain. And I just want to thank you again for making good music, for being so, creative and giving and sharing, and again for taking time today. So you have a blessed day, and I guess I'll be talking to you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, tell everyone how they can follow you, Reese, and how they can stream your music, all your different outlets where you can be followed.
Yes, Instagram at Reesoul, really simple, ReeseSeSoul. Twitter, Reese_Soul. Facebook, Reesoul Music, and all my music on Apple Music and pretty much any music streaming platform you can find me. So just type in Reesoul, you'll find me.
You want to give any shout outs to anybody that you've worked with or anybody that you're going to be working with today?
Just definitely a shout out to all the people still creating during this rough time, and keeping the juices flowing. I'm sure it's not going to last forever, but keep the grind up.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Reesoul here on the Soul Inspiration Spotlight on the show with Kym Swain. So don't go anywhere. We got more to come. We're going to play a little bit more music, give you one more fun fact, and some soulful inspiration to help you through the rest of your day. Again, right here on WREW.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Jada. Make sure you tune in and check out our new show, Next Now, weekdays 12 to 2 on ATL's Next 100. Our community.
New music. Right now.
Maybe one day you'll be a star.
listening to Miss Melissa Morgan, recently I saw her in my stream because, we spoke to Allison Williams the other day. She was graceful enough to share her new music, her project, Nights in Jazz, Harlem.
Summer Nights
in Harlem, right? So she has her project out, Summer Nights in Harlem, and I don't know how I always want to say the word jazz because it's just so jazzy is what it is. But anyway, it brought to mind another great artist that started probably around that era that was putting out some hits around the same time, Melissa Morgan. So I said, well, let me just tell everybody about her because, she worked a lot with Prince. She sang Do Me Baby, and she was one of those artists that Prince wrote for as well. And I went and I did some research. So Miss Morgan was born in New York City in 1980 and grew up not far away in Teaneck, New Jersey, a town that musicologists still associate with the Isley Brothers, who named their label Teaneck Records back in 1969. Morgan had a lot of musical training when she was growing up. She started taking piano lessons at the age of 4, and she studied classical singing and opera as a child. One person who did a great deal to encourage the singer's interest in both jazz and classical music was her grandmother, and who had been a classical singer in the 1930s and had a lot of jazz LPs in her record collection. Morgan continued to study music in high school, and she was only 16 when she went on a 70-country tour of Europe as a performer with the United States Youth Chorale. Despite all her classical training, Morgan ended up making jazz, not classical, her primary direction, and she studied jazz extensively as a young adult when she attended the Purchase College Conservatory of Music, also known as SUNY Purchase. So at Purchase, her teachers included, among others, singers Rosanna Vitro, trumpeter John Faddis, and after graduating, Morgan performed around New York City and in the early 2000s and had a regular Sunday night gig at an Upper West Side jazz club called Smoke, where she crossed paths with well-known improvisers such as tenor saxophonist George Coleman, Eddie Henderson, and acoustic pianist Harold Malburn. But we know her today. She moved on to work with producer Quincy Jones, as well as singers Jimmy Scott, Al Jarreau. But Morgan didn't stay on the East Coast, and she moved to Los Angeles in 2006, and she has been performing jazz on the West Coast for 2 years. And, she was performing on the West Coast for 2 years when she landed a deal with Telmark International in 2008. Her debut album, Until I Met You, was released by Telmark in April 2009. Well, it seems like I can't believe that I think that's the wrong Melissa Morgan that they gave me information on. Yeah, this is a whole different person. Can you believe it? So that was not an Inspiring Soul spotlight because the information I had was wrong. So let's scratch that, okay? Because apparently there's another Melissa Morgan out there, and this is not her. Because as I was reading, I was hesitating because I was like, this doesn't sound like the person I'm thinking about. So I'm going to get you the correct information tomorrow, and I have to get me a production assistant to stay here to be on topic with me on some things. But any case, she wrote and she performed Fool's Paradise, and she also sang Do Me Baby by Prince. So Melissa Morgan was going to be my online soul inspiration today, so I have to fix that. Please forgive me, Melissa Morgan. So we're going to take a quick commercial because I got a woosah from that. And let's just call her beautiful and play some Music Soul Child or something like that because I got to recuperate. I feel so wrong. All right, we'll be right back. This is the show.
You're my baby, my lover, my lady. All night you make me want you. It drives me crazy. I feel like you were made just for me, babe. Tell me if you feel the same way, 'cause it just feels so right. I don't wanna waste no time. If I had to choose, I know I'm gonna always choose to be with you. 'Cause girl, don't you know? Girl, don't you know you're so beautiful? I wanna give all my love to you, girl. Not just tonight, but the rest of your life. I wanna be
you know you're so beautiful? I wanna give all my love to you, girl. Not just tonight, but the rest of your life. I wanna be always here by your side. When you're not here, you don't know how much I miss you. The whole time on my mind is how much I'm gonna get to make you feel so good, like you know I could. Tell me if you feel the same way, 'cause it just feels so right. I don't wanna waste no time. Girl, if I had to choose, I know I'm gonna always choose to be with you. Girl, don't you know? Girl, don't you know you're so beautiful? Yeah, babe. I wanna give my love to you, girl. Not just tonight, but the rest of your life. You're mine. I wanna be always here by your side. Girl, don't you know you're so beautiful? I wanna give all my love to you, girl. The rest of your life. I wanna be always here by your side. Baby, don't you know you're so beautiful? Oh, baby, don't you know you're so beautiful? Oh, don't you, baby, don't you know you're so beautiful? Oh, baby, don't you know you're so beautiful?
So the word of the day is I'm human. I've come to the conclusion for quite some time that I am human, but I want you to know that I know that I'm human. And I make mistakes, so I'm challenging myself. I'm dealing with this whole Melissa Morgan segment that I did, and I'm dealing with. But Storm says, you know, Kym, once again, you're human. So I want to apologize, and we're going to fix it and make sure you get the right details about Melissa Morgan. I'm going to share that next week. But I want you to know that you're human too. You know, so don't go around trying to be perfect, you know, trying to be somebody that you're not. Just do the best you can. Do your best and let God do the rest. That's my commentary today. You know, love yourself, because when you love yourself, you can love others. I don't want to preach. I'm just, as I speak to you, I speak to myself. That's all I can do. So I hope you received some soul inspiration today. I hope you heard some good news. I hope you got some good information from Mr. Shannon Stewart from Ransom Insurance. And I hope you got some inspiring soul from Resold today. And we're going to do it again next week. I have some great guests coming up this season. I'm so excited. I've been really confirming a lot of great people that are really creative, that have some good things to share. So I just want you to stay on topic with yourself. Don't fall off your square, and have a blessed day. Agape love. This is the show with Kym Swain. Tune in next week, and we'll have more soulful inspiration. Take care.
And all of my friends, let's come together and pray again. The sign of Jesus is all in the room. I believe he's coming. He'll be here soon, real soon. And I'm gonna praise him. Gonna praise the Lord God. One day Father. I got involved with the Son. I'm gonna stay involved with the Holy Spirit. It's all in one. It's all in one. Now mother and father can't save our soul, for Almighty God, who has control. He healed the sick and he raised the dead. You can read your Bible, read what it says. I'm gonna praise God. I'm gonna praise the Lord God. One day I got involved with the Father. I got involved with the Son. I'm gonna stay involved with the Holy Spirit. It's all in one. Yeah. It's all in one. Now Jesus Christ, the Lord, is in charge. And He's the one to call. God loves us all. God loves us all. God loves us all. Well, shed His blood. My Jesus never said one word. I'm gonna stay involved with the Father. Gonna stay involved with the Son. I'm gonna get involved with the Holy Spirit. It's all in one. Yes, it is. You gotta get involved, hey, with the Lord. Get involved, hey, with Jesus.